Eyup, welcome back. It's 2025, baby. Just want to quickly say, because I didn't do it at the end of last video, thank you to everybody that watches this garbage. Anybody that consumes anything that I do, thanks to you lot, I don't have to have a real job. Thank you very much. And what a great way to start the year, eh? Come on. Plymouth 2, Bristol City 2. No Wazza, same party. Draw at home to Bristol City. It is again a 90th minute point save for Plymouth at home, but they're just so different, aren't they, at home compared to away? If we go to like the home and away standings in this division, at home, they're not even, I mean, they're still shit, don't get me wrong, but they're not that bad at home. Like, they're not horrendously bad like a Hull or a Cardiff. It's just away with they're letting themselves down a lot of time. At home, they always offer a lot going forward, but the same problems that they get away from home are the same here. That doesn't change. They are so easy to play against. You can cut straight through middle and we aren't even trying, really. That first goal for Bristol City, I think it's like 2 passes from centre half to striker and he's in on goal for a really good finish, to be fair. And second one, to be fair, both Bristol City's goals were really well worked. The second one, really nice, like intricate play. But the defending is all over the place. You know what it is? The back three look like they've met each other on day. Every time. Look, they've never met each other. They've never seen each other play before. They don't know how any of them work. They're all pressing at different times. I just think they're all over the place defensively. And that is something that's got to change if they want to even have a chance at staying up. Because they're conceding way too many goals. They're on for well over 100. They're conceding, on average, more than 2 goals a game, I think, if I go and check this again. Yeah, 53 and 24. They're on for more than 100 goals conceded. But one thing I will say, because I never give them the flowers, really, Bristol City, I thought, looked quite good. Again, the Plymouth goals are scrappy, in fairness. The first one's quite good, but the second one, it's scrappy. It's not defending your box well enough in 90th minute. But they do actually look quite good. I've been, the last couple of games, from bits that I've seen in Bristol City, I am quite impressed with. Insert same joke here, but they cannot finish higher than 10th. QPR 3, Watford 1. This is another team in Watford that I think might start just like slipping away from playoffs sort of thing. I think they'll be in the sort of Bristol City category of mid-table as just not good enough to get in there. The defending for the 3 of these goals is awful. To be fair, a couple of them are well worked. The first one is from a set, well, the first 2 are from set pieces, and the third one's a cross into the box as well. They're just not defending the box well enough. Again, similar to Plymouth from what I've seen of the highlights on this, Watford look too easy to play against. You can just lump it onto the defenders and they don't know what to do. You wouldn't expect that really, Watford, because they've got some big lads. I don't know the heights of these boys. I'm not that good. I don't know the heights of these players. But Pollock and Porty should think are quite big. Sissoko's quite big. You'd think that they can have a bit of presence in box, but to concede from 3 set pieces or 2 set pieces and a cross into box, that's shit. QPR's performances, I've been saying for ages, well higher than their actual position is saying for them. But they are starting to pull away a little bit from this sort of fate down at bottom. They've got a 7-point gap now between them and hell itself. To say that they were like bottom at league about 3 months ago, you know what I mean? They were always going to go like this. They're not going to get playoffs. I'm not that daft, but they will be closer to top 6 than bottom 3 by the time it's done. Millwall 0, Oxford 1. I'm sorry, Millwall, but if you know out about note, then you knew Oxford were going to win this game. I'm sorry. Gary Rowett going back to Millwall, it were a nailed-on win, and I had him in my investment. However, everything else in my investment lost. Classic. But that is now 3 wins on the bonds for Oxford. Still defensively a little bit all over the place, but they've tightened ship up a little bit recently. They're not conceded in the last 2. The thing that Oxford have got over more or less every team down at bottom is that they're actually quite good against shit teams. Oxford against, I can't find the stats, so I can't be arsed working it out. I probably could find the stats. But I'm assuming that teams at bottom half, Oxford must have a decent record against. It's just when they play out good sides that they get tonked. But against really, really poorer sides, or teams that you should be beating, really, especially at home, they're quite good at Oxford. They're obviously still in a scrap, and I think all the fan base are Tech 21st now. But they're chipping away nicely. I hope they stay up. I mean, I did say at the start of the season that they would stay up. I've just changed my mind as it's gone on. I should just start not saying anything, but then that won't make for a lot of videos, would it? Burnley 0, Stoke 0. Cardiff 1, Coventry 1. Coventry are looking a little bit harder to beat with Lampard in charge. They're not conceding as many goals, other than the obvious tonking that they got at Portsmouth. They're not conceding that many goals recently. But from a team that's got so much going for them, like players-wise, the personnel that Coventry have got, you just expect him to win this game, especially against Cardiff, who at their place have been horrendously bad this season. And Cardiff had 10 men. More or less as soon as second half kicked off, Callum Robinson got sent off. You would expect Coventry, I know they were 1-0 down at time, but you would expect them after they got the equaliser to go and win the game, but they've just not got that. They've not got that oomph in them, have they, to seriously put them up there where they belong, really, with the team that they've got. A decent point for Cardiff. I mean, they keep chipping away, but you've got to get wins at home. It's all right taking a point anyway you go away, but when you're at bottom, you've got to start winning some games, or it will get to you. I'm telling you, you will end up like a Plymouth fairly soon if you don't start winning games at home. And then going on to a side that normally wins at home every week, Leeds 1, Blackburn 1. Leeds fought the bunny as well. It went 88th minute, Stewart got a penalty which is scored, but then Blackburn, again, scrappy goal, but you take what you get, don't you, away at Leeds. It's an horrible place to go. This must be the first time that a side has even took a point from Leeds in ages. Look at that form. Jesus, I never could see go. I can't remember if I've done this recently. I feel like I've done this for a similar thing. Oh, maybe it was Sheffield United. One there. 3 goals at home conceded since Burnley. Chuffing Nellfire. What, 9 wins on bounce before Blackburn came even. John Eustace, man, what a manager. It's obviously going to be heavy Leeds dominated stats-wise, but they've defended the box well, Blackburn, which is something that they've been doing anyway. They're not scoring enough goals. That's the problem with Blackburn. Obviously, they take a draw here any day a week, but it's like they're not conceding loads of goals. They're just not scoring a lot either. The game, to be fair, the way that the results are going, they give me like a little bit of Birmingham vibes. They're not going and smashing teams. They're very efficient a lot at times. They do concede a lot of goals. But to be fair, I don't expect more from them because I think the squad as a whole is all right, but it's definitely not a top 7 squad that Blackburn have got. Obviously, now we're in January. They might bring a couple of forwards in. It is someone that they need at top end of pitch. But defensively, very good. Very hard to beat. They're conceding less than a goal a game. For a side that were like, 4th bottom or something last season and were leaking goals for fun. Really, really good this from Blackburn. Leeds, I mean, in my mind now, they're just going to... They could have won it in April. So it's a really good point for Blackburn. And for Leeds, to be fair, because you're playing it outside. Luton lost 1-0 tonight. Seriously, every game that goes by, I'm getting more and more worried from. I genuinely am. Norwich, see, off the top of my head, we'll look at it after the next one. But I think, off the top of my mind, Norwich, away from home, cannot be in top half form-wise. They're always good at home, Norwich. I feel like they'll score a lot of the goals at home. But away, they're not all that. Luton, what has happened to this team? How has he still got a job? I understand that he's signed a new contract in summer, doesn't he? So if you're going to sack him and you're going to pay him out multiple M's, which obviously Luton have got, but they don't want to spend. Maybe they think that season's a write-off. If we can finish, if we just stay up, they'll take it more or less at this point. But that's not a given. Like, obviously, there's some really, really shit sides in this division. But Luton is starting to look like one of them. I'm going to get it up now. Home. No, Norwich is 12th at home. No way. Really? I don't know all then. I genuinely, maybe with this win. So I'm right. I'm actually right. If we're playing funny beggars, I'm actually right. Because if you take the 3 points off before this game, they'd have had 10 points, which would have had them 15th, 14th. 14th, because you take them out there and put them there. Yeah. So I'm actually right. And Luton at home aren't that bad, really. But that's something that got them promoted last time, a couple of years ago. Because the pitch is so small, it's so tight. Stands are right on top here. There's a couple of grounds like that in this league. So if certain sides come and try and play tippy-tappy football bullshit at your place, you're normally quite good. But, oh my God, I'm seriously worrying for him. If we look at the overall table now, just quickly, 5th bottom. I said these idiots would win league. Have they conceded 2nd most goals? They have. Oh my God, they're in trouble, you know, because a lot of other sides are like scabby out there. They can pick points up. Like Plymouth are getting like odd draw. They're actually all right at home. They score a lot of goals at home, to be fair. Cardiff have 4 points in the last 2 games. Hull won other week. Portsmouth have got it in them anyway. Like Oxford, 3 wins on bounce. Luton, 3 losses in a row. They're not playing good sides. That's the most worrying thing. The recent fixtures, Blackburn are good. But then Derby, Bristol City, Swansea, Norwich at home. You're not playing anybody even at like top 8. You're not playing any serious promotion chases. And you're losing all the time. Like I said, we'll come and look at it at end once we've looked at all championship stuff. But I am seriously starting to worry about Luton. And this actually, you know when I was just saying then, there's certain grounds in this division where it's rate tight, it's rate compact, it's not a big pitch at all, it's small. Fans are right on top of your atmosphere can get going. And then certain teams try and go and play a certain way at that place. This is like literally peak example. Portsmouth 4, Swansea 0. I don't know what they expect. This is what Swansea have been like for years now. 73% possession, done no weight. You've lost 4-0. Fantastic, well done. It seriously does me head in when managers aren't versatile at all with how they perform. They're stuck to like one thing. No, we are going to keep the ball non-stop. We are going to play it out front back. Regardless of it being 3-0 down, we're still going to do it. It's ridiculous. Some tidy finishes and all from Portsmouth boys. This is why I don't speak about certain teams, because they're just... It's a waste of breath. 29 goals scored, 29 goals conceded, 0 goal difference. Sat in 12th. They'll win 2-1 bounce, they'll lose 2-1 bounce, they'll win 2-1 bounce, and they're just going to be stuck here forever. Do it same thing. It's boring. Ugh. Anyway, Portsmouth, really good win. I knew they'd have goals in them. Go on, the boys. Wednesday 4, Derby 2. Right. They're not going to get playoffs, so let's just nip that in bud right now. Now that Carlos has gone, Wednesday have got the best manager in league, I think, by a landslide. And in a world now, or a sport, where everything is determined by how you set up, your tactical shape, everything like that, individual quality, a lot of time is a thing of past. So that obviously benefits them massively, because Wednesday's squad as a whole is down here. But they have got certain players in this team that are so much better than the club that they're at. It's ridiculous. And one of them has come off bench today and scored probably one of the best goals of the year. Like Ballon d'Or, whatever it's called, Puskas Award worthy. And it's our lad, our pal, my mate, my bro. 5 goals on the bounce. He'd literally come off bench today and scored. I think if we look at it right, let me just go back to this. Who's the top scorers in the league? He's 3rd. Playing in midfield, he's 3rd. To be fair, there's a serious lack of serious strikers in this division. Like I said, for a side that tactically very good, the shape is very, very good. If these had a decent team, I'm telling you, they'd be right up there, because Danny Roll is insane. But they've got a player in Windass who can just make something happen from no. And I'm trying to think of other ones that are maybe in this division. Amer at Sheffield United, I think, can just make something appear out of nothing. Finazaz at Borough, maybe. But there's limited amount of players, I think, in this division that can do something that he's just done. Obviously, at middle, I think that they have got some decent players at middle as well. Baz, when he can be asked, but he's an old man now. Charles, I mean, I'm hoping Southampton do me a favour and recall him, because surely he can get in Southampton team. He's a very, very good player, that lad. You know what I'm going to say? Derby is shit. Don't matter. Not nervous. West Brom 3, Preston 1. Right, I just want to make something very clear, because everybody's tagging me and saying, Callum Styles is best left back ever. Let me just get something straight. Never once have I said that Styles is a bad left back. Fantastic left back. It's just because his ego thought, I'm too big for this division. I'm not a League One left back. I'm a League One midfielder. So he thinks he can go in middle and act good. He's shit at middle. And if you ever put him at middle, you'll find out. But at left back, top. Seriously, top draw left back here. Manager 2 goals again. It's just same thing where the width is providing a lot of assists, which is good. They're not scoring enough goals in general, but as a whole, they look very good today. The defending for some of them goals is absolutely honking from Preston. And I think Eki had said that as well, which is brave to do. But they're very inconsistent, aren't they? I'm sure they won last week. Yeah, they won 2 on bounce, 1-0, 3-1, and then get arse all the way at West Brom. But you are playing a side that is notoriously very hard to beat. They've only lost 4 games all season. I doubt they've lost many at home. If any, they've lost 1 game at home. And in a very tough run of fixtures home-wise for West Brom, Norwich, Sheffield United, Coventry, Bristol City, Preston, 3 wins, 2 draws, good going. And that, to be fair, their own form is what is going to have them right up there. I still think, even with Carlos going, maybe, they're going to finish top 8, maybe. Again, January. Do you know what I mean? Everything could look so different in a month. But Preston will be fine. They'll be nowhere near this. They're sort of edging up to get on Bristol City's back again, aren't they? Hull 0, Middlesbrough 1. It's another loss. It's a 93rd minute loss as well. And don't get me wrong, I like half watching this while darts run. It's Middlesbrough a better side. Don't get me wrong. I'm not I don't need stats to tell you that. They're obviously a better side. But what Sellers is doing at Hull is made them defensively much, much better. Much, much better, because they were conceding a fair few goals all the time. Since he's coming, they're not conceding a lot of goals, but the squad that they've got is not allowing them to score any, because it's shit. I'm telling you, I am still worried. I do think Sellers is a good manager, but I am still worried about what could happen to Hull. Obviously, we're in January now. Money. Do you know what I mean? It all comes down to one thing. Depends how much they've got or how much they're willing to spend. The attendances are good now, so you'd think the revenue should be up there, Hull, especially with the sales that they've made this summer, last summer. They're always making big sales recently. They need to spend some on some forwards. I know it's easy to say, but you get a serious number 9 and it'll fix all your issues, which you can say for 90% of teams in football, can't you? But a serious number 9, because defensively they're quite good now with Sellers coming in. They could be all right, but it needs to happen quite quickly. Middlesbrough, very good win. They're trying to propel themselves away from this fate, aren't they? I think they all know really that you're not going to get top 2. Obviously, Carrick's come out and said that they're not writing it off yet, but they're way too inconsistent, Middlesbrough, for top 2. You've conceded 31 goals. You can't get in there conceding that many. When you look at some other ones, the other serious contenders, 16, 9, 16, at a push, Sunderland at 22. They're conceding way too many goals. They will be in playoffs. But I think that's it. And then two other sides, to be fair, this could be a playoff game. Sunderland 2, Sheffield United 1. I watched this at the same time as darts. Dual monitor setup. Sport! Go Sport! To be fair, I thought this was quite an even game. Sunderland had the better, more clear-cut chances. But I think as a whole, it was a fairly even game. Obviously, keeper one missed penalty, which were really bad. I'm not even going to say that it were a good save because it weren't. It looked like he scuffed it. It was a really, really bad. Two good finishes from them Sunderland boys. This bloke, this Isidore, if I get called racist for this, I don't even know. But 2025, you don't know. He runs like a shit Thierry Henry. I'm not joking. The way he moves his body. Obviously, I wasn't even old enough to have watched Thierry Henry. I was like a little scrote when Thierry Henry were playing. But from like things you've seen before and how he opens his body and how he moves, brother. This guy looks like a shit Thierry Henry. I really, really like him. 7 goals in 22 in Championship. Yeah, Thierry Henry, baby. No, seriously, I actually really like Sunderland's forward line. I really, really do. They've got a young core, which I've said a million times, but I'm really, really liking the forwards. The fluidity in which they attacked against Sheffield United, I thought were really nice. And to be fair, like I said about Windass, we're making stuff happen out of no. It is a known goal from Luca 9, but it's from him. Eamon's had a shot from like 45 yards from a free kick, or it might have been laid off from a free kick. But everybody thought he was going to cross it in, and he's hit it as hard as he can at near post. Really good effort, to be fair. Patterson saved it. Front corner, it's fell to him, and he's blasted it as hard as he can across goal line. It is just him making stuff happen. And especially when, like, they're so thin. The squad that Sheffield United have got, which everyone laughed at me for, by the way. So I'm just going to come back to that. The squad is nowhere near good enough. I don't even know who half of these players are. Blacker, Boys, I vaguely know him, that striker. I don't. Luke Marshall's only a kid. I barely know who any of them players are. And that's your bench going away to Sunderland. It's a good job they're in January, and I've said this for ages now. See what the Sonus about, see what money they've got to spend in. They're obviously going to bring some loans in now that Suter's gone back with injury, so that's another spot for a loan. How many loans have they got in this current team? In the starting 11? Gilchrist, is that it? I think that's it. That is it. So there's room there, and you know what they're like. Get 2 weeks, there'll be 4 new loans starting in this team. And if we look at the top of the division, that last night was 3rd v 4th. They have only got 1 point in the last 3 games, though, Sheffield United, which for a side that's been very efficient so far this year and conceded very little goals. Recently, it's not been the same, but it is a result of the injuries that they've got and stuff like that. Sunderland, again, after 1 point in the last 2 before this, to win a game is really impressive. To be fair, the top 3 all drop points, so for Sunderland, it's an absolute dream. They've managed to close that gap a little bit. They are only 5 points off top, so it's ridiculous for me to say that they're just going to finish 4th. But my opinion hasn't changed on that. I don't. Oh, maybe it has. I don't know anymore. I don't know. I love this league. The reason that I don't love this league, though, is because Leeds, I think, could win it easily. To be fair, maybe Burnley could pull away. It's January. No, it's January. What am I even saying? I might as well just shut up until Feb. I'm just going to ignore all this for once. I'm going to go down. I'm going to go straight down to the bottom. I'm not. To be fair, a lot of these are not the same points. Oxford have obviously got a game in hand. Derby will be fine. Stand by that. Derby will be fine. Oxford down. But Luton, man, I am seriously worrying for these boys. I really am. Especially because, what's to say that someone like, I don't know, Southampton come in for Morris? Do you know what I mean? What's to say a bottom's Premier League side don't come in for a goal scorer that Luton have got even? Then what happens? You are absolutely stuffed. If someone like Morris goes, it is literally over. I don't know. I'm just worrying for him. Best league in the world. Reds 2, Wrexham 1. Take that on your documentary. To be fair, I think this is the first time this season that we haven't been the better side and we've won. For more or less every game that we've won this season so far, I think we have been the better side and we probably deserved it. But normally when we play crap, we can't grind a result out like this. But this has really, really impressed me. This has impressed me more than if we'd have gone and won 5-0. Because it's showing serious character. Obviously, the stats look massively in Wrexham's favour. And I do think a draw would have been a fair result. I will say that early. First half, when we scored us 2 goals and went in 2-0 up, obviously, the 2 very, very good finishers. You can't take it away from it. No keeper is stopping either of them. So I don't know why people are coming for... Like, I've seen Wrexham fans going for the keeper. He couldn't have done anything about them too. But we were better side in first half. Apart from, like, they had a... To be fair, first 10 minutes, Wrexham were good. And then we scored off run a play. But I thought first half we were better side. Second half, obviously, we're 2-0 up. So we've come out to just defend it. I do think a draw is a fair result, though. However, at their place, I thought a draw was a fair result. So I genuinely think... If football were a fair game, we'd have gone from these 2 games playing each other with 2 points each. I think we'd have both drawn each other's games, but we've come out with 3 each instead. So I'll shake your hand and run off. Defensively, I thought we looked a little bit shaky. I'm not going to lie. Dijivigné has been really good recently, which I never, ever thought I'd say in my life. O'Keefe's been really good. Connell and Phillips are getting a lot more involved now, which I'm really, really liking. Sometimes they can go missing. for large parts of the game. But especially Phillips, he can go missing and then just pop up with like to be fair, which is a bad thing. Again, making something hard to know, which I've said is a really good thing, which it is. But he can go missing for ages and then just pop up with a goal. Recently, this is the best I've seen him. I think he's been absolutely shit hot, and that goal, postage stamp top bins, just topped it off. He's been insane recently. Dunn's been shit hot and all recently. Waters, his game's so underappreciated. But Wrexham, defensively, I do think are still very good. You can see where they get a lot of the points from, which is exact same as at their place. Even though they made, like, I think it was a mistake from that O'Connor or something that ended up in as scoring. But defensively, you can see why they're so solid a lot of time. They've got a really good midfield three now, Dobson, James and Rathbone. It's not as good as ours, like, but still. And they are a good side. Of the two, obviously, we've only played them and Peterborough twice. But from the sides that I've seen so far this season, these are definitely one at best. Definitely. We are now, and it's still a big gap, but we're 9 points behind them now. We've won 4 out of his last 5. We've actually won an home game, which is ridiculous. We won 2 games before this at home all season. Out of like 11. You know how ridiculous that is? For a side that's going for top 6, well, we should have been going for top 2 at start of the year. Just to have only won 2 games at home all year before this is mental. But we started off on the strong foot. Get in! Anyway, moving on. Blackpool 1, Shrewsbury 1. Really good point for Ainsworth, and they do keep chipping away. Blackpool, though, to be fair, I thought they'd be like mid-table anyway. I think they got a little bit giddy once. So they had like 3 wins on bounce, then it was like, told you all, playoffs, you're a dickhead, Callum, you don't know. Shut up. They're not being in any danger, but I think they'll probably finish about like 14th, something like that. Shrewsbury, however, no loss in 4. It is 3 draws, but they are much, much harder to beat than they once were with Ainsworth. And while other teams do absolutely nothing and just keep losing out every week, Shrewsbury, especially away from home, you keep nicking your points, boys. You'll be absolutely sound, I promise you. Bristol Rovers 2, Leyton Orient 3. Let me just go straight to Leyton Orient's form. Right, so I'm only looking at league games. I don't care about anything else. Win against Bristol Rovers, funnily enough. Win, win, draw, win, 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 win. That is 6 wins out of 7 and a draw. They are the first goals that they've conceded since November. That is absolutely ridiculous. To be fair, it is just like complete contrasting teams in it. Bristol Rovers are conceding for fun. They're losing more or less constantly. Even new managers not doing anything for him really. And they're going up against a side that's just in form of their life, looking absolutely shit at Leyton Orient. I think as well, Amachira went off injured, which is even worse news. And they're just getting closer and closer and closer to bottom 4 every week. Leyton Orient, to be fair, from a side that weren't bottom 4 like a month ago, it just shows you exactly what you can do if you have a decent month in this league. Bristol Rovers could literally do the exact same thing from next week to middle of February. They could be in the same place. You never know. But they've gone from being bottom 4 looking like a dead cert to playoff picture in a month. But Bristol Rovers, I'm going to come and look at all this at end, but Bristol Rovers, it ain't looking good. 2 other sides, it ain't looking good for the really. Burton 2, Peterborough 2. I don't know what like narrative to run with here. Burton were 2-0 up and ended up drawing at home. When you're a side that just isn't winning any games, ever, Burton, you have got to see that off. You've got to. You've won 2 games in 23. You're 2-0 up at home to a side that's absolutely shot for confidence. Look absolutely horrendous. They concede goals for fun. And you throw that away. That is, I'm sorry, but that is the sign of a side that is going down. Whereas Peterborough, obviously first half, absolutely horrendous. Collins did score to make it 2-1 just before break. It was a really good time to score. But I guess you can say character to come back from 2-0 down to draw, especially when you've been absolutely horrendous for like weeks, months, not. But they are right in this scrap, Peter, but they look absolutely horrendous. To be fair, for you to be 2-0 down and end up drawing, it's a good point, really, when you look at it from that perspective. But surely Peterborough must be thinking, right, we've got literally the worst side in division. This has got to be something that we win. So it is 2 points dropped, even though they were 2-0 down. I expect more from this side. Even with the constant selling of the best players, the constant bringing in players that aren't as good, I still expect this team, as crap as it looks defensively, the midfield upwards is still half decent. I expect that to be like 10 places higher than they are. Oh, I don't know. Cambridge 1, Reading 3. Was Ruben Sellers underachieving with this super team? It has to be said. What is it now? 3 wins on the bounce, a lot of goals. They are more or less a banker to concede every week, which is a little bit of a problem. And to be fair, they are playing Cambridge, who are absolutely dog shit. But it's really, really good. To be fair, I've been rooting them for a long time. I'm going to stop doing that. Ready? Because I want to get in there, and they're taking my 5th spot at minute. And as much as the team is made up of like young'uns, which it is, they have got some goal scorers in this team, you know. Like Lewis Wing scores goals. I'm sorry, I don't know. To be fair, I don't know how many he's got, but from my point of view, he's a decent goal scorer midfielder. I mean, he's got 4 goals, 5 assists from middle. Not bad. Out of your names, player. Smith up front, player. Obviously, the defensive issues is a completely different thing. But they have got goal scorers in this team. I am liking them. I do think they will slide away at some point. Slide away. But I'm liking them. Reading. Cambridge. I've said it for donkeys, man. They're going down. Lincoln 0, Rotherham 1. To be fair, 85th minute. Nice. For a side, again, that has looked crap for the longest. Rotherham, I think, are looking like 8th, decent recently. They're not scoring enough goals, don't get me wrong, but at least they've tightened defensively up a little bit recently. That one's a sentence. But if you look at form in this division now, I'm going to like last 15 games. Rotherham started really, really bad, and they were bottom 4 for a little bit start of year, weren't they? When you look at like the last 15 games, so once it's settled down a bit, they are just a mid-table side in this division, which is where I think they will end up. Because at minute, they're probably still a little bit closer to like, how do I get off? They are probably, yeah, they're still 17th, but I think they'll probably be about 12th by the time it's done. They're only 4 points off now. Lincoln, though, if we go back to that form, what's happened to these boys? To be fair, we went their second game at season. It was first away game at year. And I could tell, we won straight away. And I could tell they're not the same as they were last year. They've obviously lost the keeper. They've lost the best asset in both boxes, the keeper and the striker that they had on loan, which made them a real force last season, especially near the end when they went on that stupid run. And I thought they were going to get in. They're just not as good. Don't get me wrong. They're not going to be bottom 4 at all. They'll probably end up having some stupid run again. They'll be decent, you'd think, in January. But mid-table, I think, for both these sides, where they'll end up. Oh man, Mansfield 2, Bolton 1. Oh God, I'm telling you, he's going to be here forever. I swear that he's going to be here for the rest of time and ever. What did I say in the last video? Oh, well, you can't sack him after the loss to us. You can't sack him then because we're insane away, which we are. Then he goes and beats Lincoln 3-0. Obviously, Lincoln had 10 men for most of the game. But they're going to bet Lincoln 3-0, so you can't sack him after that. Can you sack him now against Mansfield? Because we have just bet Lincoln 3-0. What's the next fixtures, Bolton? Exeter away? Say if he goes and gets a point or more there, can you sack him then? What about Rotherham? There's no right time to sack the man. Seriously, there's not. Unless, to be fair, Exeter is not an easy place to go. Rotherham have started picking it up a little bit. If they don't win any of the next like 3 when you get to like Cambridge, I think that could be a time to get rid. Because it will get to a point maybe where the other sides are starting to win a few games. Like the 5 points off Nara for us. They've got 2 games in hand, so it don't mean anything really. But I would rather have points on board. They've got an even goal difference with the squad that they've got in this division. Obviously, they've recalled Morley and all from Wickham. So whether he goes straight in or not, I don't know. But you'd expect him to, wouldn't you? You'd expect him, if he's been recalled from a side that's top at league and he's been one of the better players, you think he'd just go straight in unless they've brought him back to then try and flog him on. I don't know. But let's see what Everett does with him. I don't know. Mansfield, really good win. 3 wins out of the last 4. They went through a really tricky spell recently, didn't they? But they've turned that around quite well. They've just got goal scorers, haven't they, again? Like that Evans up front, baller. Gregory's back from injury now. Really good finish and all from him. He's just a certified bags man, isn't he? And for them to keep in touching distance at playoffs all this time, very good side. Northampton 0, Stevenage 0, couldn't care less. Stockport 1, Birmingham 1. I've said this before, and I will say it again. Birmingham are not scoring enough goals. I do think they're very efficient, which is true. They had 8 wins on bounce before the last 2 draws. But with the attacking talent that they've got, you do expect them to just, you know what I mean? Just bump sides. You expect him to go to Stockport, even though Stockport are a very good team. You expect him to go here and put like 3 past him. When you look at the lineup that they've got, and I know it's like, I've praised them for doing this before because they're not getting injuries, you know what I mean? They've done very well injury-wise this season to not have any major ones, I think. Cockroach obviously got injured against us, but he's back already. So, majority of games, if they've got 80% possession and 10 shots and they win 2-0, happy days. But I do think they are lacking a bit of the creative spark at top end of pitch, which they really shouldn't be when they spent 80 million quid in summer. If I'm not mistaken, that is the end of Louis Barry. I mean, he weren't even in his squad. He didn't play. I think he's still there. I think he's gone back now after this game. But that is the top goal scorer in the league gone. And again, you know what I mean? Birmingham, they've not created a lot. It's a really good goal from Alfie May in fairness, but they've not created a lot. Stockport, better side. I do think a draw probably looked fair from what I've seen and what I've heard. A draw did look fair result. But cracks maybe started to show. No, 106 points. Wigan P, Huddersfield P, and then finally Wycombe 2, Exeter 1. Speaking of, Aaron Morley, 94th minute penalty. That is a rate departing present, that, innit? You couldn't ask for something better than that. Very good performance. We are in January now, so this team that you're seeing for Wycombe, there might be 4 of these lads that's completely different by the time that it's done. It's a blessing for some teams, it's a curse for another, and I think it could be a curse for Wycombe this window. Obviously, Morley's already gone. They might lose some of the best players, you never know. But like I said about Birmingham, who aren't scoring enough goals, they've still scored like, what, 3rd, 4th most in division. They're on 38. Reading have got more. Peterborough have got more down here. And then Wycombe are on 49. They're managing games really, really well, Birmingham. They are obviously going to win league regardless. Or they're going to get second. Even if we want to take the absolute piss and say they're going to finish second, it is the lowest that they're going to finish. Automatic promotion. But they need more goals. I think I'm just being real, bro. Maybe just from like an excitement point of view, because I've seen a lot of Birmingham fans saying that their away end's absolutely crap. But if you're creating nothing, or you're creating very little, the football's not that exciting. At this, well, to be fair, Stockport did a little better side, but they do dominate possession, but they create not a lot with it. They give me like Man City vibes at the minute. They're recycling possession a lot. I feel like they're not hitting it enough. They could be scoring a lot more goals than they are doing if they just have pop shots from edge at box. If you look at the goals that they scored against us, Sansfield just let one hit from 35 yards and it's gone top bins. They've got the players that can do that. Liven up a little bit. But Wycombe, to be officially halfway through the season now, 23 games, and have 50 points, I'll tell you what, they will take some stopping. They will take some catching up to by either Huddersfield or Wrexham, or if you want to piss Barnsley. But if we have a little flutter down at the bottom of the league, where are we now? Let me be serious. Let me be completely serious. Peterborough down. I'm saying Peterborough down. Rotherham, obviously, like we've seen recently, are performing like a mid-table side as of recent results. Obviously, they've got games down as well. Peterborough, really bad. Leaking goals for fun. Worst defence I've seen in a long time in this division. Northampton can't win a game to save their life. To be fair, a lot of these sides, you're looking at Peterborough down. Out of the last 4 games from all of these teams respectively, only 1 win. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 times 4, 28. Out of the last 28 games from Peterborough downwards, there's been 1 win across all of them. It is shocking, the teams down at the bottom of this league. They're absolutely terrible. And the win came from yours truly. I've been saying it for the longest, bro. Shrewsbury. I think Shrewsbury will get out. I've been saying this as well for ages. Burton and Cambridge, I think, will go down. I'm going to say Burton and Cambridge down. Shrewsbury, I think, will stay up. Obviously, Crawley had the game postponed. So they've got a game in hand now with Charlton. They've got us at our place next. They are scoring goals, though, recently at least, but they just concede so many. Bristol Rovers, serious trouble. Peterborough, serious trouble. Could see one of them going down, if I'm being completely honest. Now, if we fly up to the top, I don't even know what to say anymore for this playoff picture. I just don't care. Barnsley are in there. We're so good. We are the best. I'm not fickle. I don't change my mind every week depending on result. I'm so consistent, me, with Barnsley. Playoff win. I do still think, unless we go on some like absolute mad win streak, that this is still your top 4. I'm not changing my mind of that. I am still thinking like Huddersfield upwards is going to be a top 4. I am obviously still set on Birmingham winning the league. Do think Huddersfield could catch up, but it could be a really tough month for Wycombe. My thoughts on Wycombe are going to change depending on where they're at on 1st of December. Give it exactly a month and we'll see where we're at then. But that's me. Absolute pleasure as always, boys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for just liking the video in advance and subscribing. But thank you for watching everything that I put out, or most of it. Like I said at the start of this video, it's a bit of a joke, innit? But because of everybody that watches this, I get to do this as a job. So I don't have to work in an office. I don't have to work in a warehouse. I don't have to think or like fucking manual labour. I can just sit here and waffle my dick off, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I love you all for that. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you in a bit. I'm gonna post more this year, like dead ass. Love you all, bye.
I say I'm a man, yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying as a right good looker. I say up that. Show us bit it.